Hello again, 7-1. Mr. Brown here. Yet again, I think the last video cut me off, so I think I'm going to just start where I believe it cut us off. Okay, so we were at shading and coloring. Okay, this can denote mood and particularly tone, but in this case, mood. Okay, so an object could be solid black, light gray, or white, and the color of the shading matters. In the first panel here, we've got a darkness that hangs over the girls in an oppressive manner, meaning the darkness is pushing down on them. Not a good thing, something that's oppressive, something that's keeping people down, something that's bearing down on you. And in this case, it could be indicative of danger. Okay? The lower panel, the man on the left, is shaded much darker than the man on the right. As a result, the reader feels differently about each man. Okay, so in this case, no dialogue, but we can see that there are two men and one is slightly darker. It's not like he's in a darker spot or anything like that, but this could mean that the man is maybe depressed, maybe the other man is cheering him up, the other man is slightly more cheered, has more color in his face, and he's trying to cheer up this man who has a dark cloud hanging over his head. And that is, of course, is metaphoric, having a dark cloud over your head, meaning that you're not feeling too well. But in this case, the graphic novel would make him look like he's got a dark cloud hanging over his head, so that the metaphor becomes literal. Okay, and that is shading and color to denote mood. Okay, there's a look at the three young women, the darkness sort of hovering over them. Here's the one, two men talking, one man not looking too well. Okay, let's move on to captions. Okay, these are boxes containing a variety of text elements, including scene setting, description, etc. So, of course, as we know with bubbles, that's going to be dialogue. If it's just a bubble, um, just sort of like, leading right towards the person, that means it's dialogue. In this case, it's thought bubbles. You can see the bubbles leading up to a bigger bubble. That is going to be thought bubbles. That's going to be somebody thinking. And then, of course, above it is explaining the transition in time. That is uh, sort of like setting our scene. Okay, so a graphic novel can help do that. Speech balloons, we were just talking about that. These enclose dialogue and come from a specific speaker's mouth. Types of speech balloons include those holding external dialogue, speech between the characters, okay, and internal dialogue, as I said before, a character's private thoughts. If we look at the first panel there, we can see that we've got the scene setting, months later, agreement finally, and then we've got the woman thinking, not saying, but why weren't you reasonable to begin with? And he's thinking, I lost a lot. You can see them not talking to each other, but you can see them both thinking. Okay, back to our Lincoln example that we've used more than a few times here. You can see that he is sort of clearing his throat with the big ahem. He's not saying it, well, he is saying it, but it's not really a word, so it's just the action of clearing his throat. Okay, so I do hope that helps, and do study this yourself for when you answer questions on it. Be sure to study all the panels and get to know graphic novels. This will help us with our own graphic novel march. Okay? All right, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.